I wanted to talk about it again. Basically, Overwatch was a game that I thought I had been done with, over and done with, and I was fine with that, and I closed the book. And then after Overwatch 2 came out, I feel like there was some stuff that I really wanted to talk about in terms of the gameplay and the general state of the game. I also think that some of my thoughts and feelings have changed about Overwatch, and some for the better and some for the worse, but I really just wanted to properly get into it and really discuss the things that are bothering me and the things that I genuinely do miss about the game. So yeah, please enjoy.
I'll see you at the finish line.
The Shimada Empire will rise again.
The world could always use more heroes.
Decided they were better off without us. They even called us criminals. They tore our family apart. But look around! Someone has to do something! We have to do something! We can make a difference again. The world needs us now, more than ever. Are you with me?
Now, I should preface this by saying that I actually really enjoyed playing Overwatch. My last video, which I wish I could go back and kind of remake some aspects, and I guess that's what this video is. I loved this game, and in my previous video I made it quite personal, and it was a very personal video essay, and I wanted to put that out there, and I still stand by, the way I handled the game and what have you. Basically, I was having a lot of personal problems at the time, and this was kind of like my scapegoat. I pumped a lot of time into this, not only for fun, but to also to relieve stress of my life, and I would put less emphasis on that now that I've been able to kind of move past that in my life. Now, with that out of the way, I just wanted to quickly recap on about how Overwatch was this really fun game. It was a 6v6 arena shooter, where you could play any hero at any skill level, and you could have fun, and you could play with friends, you could team up with them, you could meet new people, and have a generally good time. And it had quite a lot of variety. It was being updated a lot. The development team was very transparent, very upfront with what they were doing, and I really appreciate that. And I loved the lore, and I loved the memes, and I loved quite a lot about this game, and I've pumped so many hours into this game over the years. I did put it down after my decade video. That was the last time I played Overwatch 1, and I said that was it, that I'm done with this. I've had my time with it, and it's time to move on to something else. And I was fine with that, and yeah, that was basically my feelings about it. I hold some still really fond memories about playing competitive, being on the competitive grind. I loved it. It was so good. That was at least the very early days of Overwatch, before the kind of toxicity that drove me away from this game started to set in. This game had a lot of balancing issues. Blizzard always seemed to have a balancing issue with this game. Like, for instance, anytime any hero was moaned about basically for being too overpowered, then the character would be nerfed into the ground. I mean, take D.Va for example. Everyone was complaining that she was gobbling too many ults, so they just killed her defense matrix. With all my D.Va saltiness aside, by the way. Yeah, the game kind of became stale, and you could tell the updates were slowing down. And although I still, I hold those competitive grinds fondly, it's not really something that I miss entirely. I miss the feeling of having fun, but that's basically about it. Overwatch also kind of brought this new monetization thing into the whole gaming system, where loot boxes were a thing, and now they're pretty much dead in the water because of how egregious they can be. But all of that kind of aside, it was a great fun game, and although a lot of personal issues got to me, it was a generally just good thing, and I was happy to move on from it. And no one expected a sequel. We all just wanted more updates, and there wasn't really a sequel on deck. There was just Overwatch. You just played Overwatch, and everyone was okay with that, and I was okay with that. And then Activision Blizzard had to really fuck things up. In 2019, Activision Blizzard decided to fuck itself. Literally. Part 1. Activision Blizzard actively and allegedly hates human rights and your face, but loves your wallet. In 2019, a professional Hearthstone player, Blitzchung, was banned from a tournament as he wore a face mask that said, "Liberate Hong Kong." Blitzchung at the time had won approximately $4,000 in the tournament, of which Activision Blizzard wiped off the face of the planet after his banning. The situation in Hong Kong is complicated, and the people there were protesting their government because they wanted a fairer and more democratic country that wasn't being controlled by China. A bill was being brought forward, and the people did not like it, and they protests. Some citizens of Hong Kong died in those protests. They're fighting for their human right to be independent as a country. This absolute abuse of human rights was disgusting. Blizzard then took actions to not only try and cover up Blitzchung's message during the live-streamed event, but also denied him of any winnings and saved the company's reputation. This backfired. They did backtrack and temporarily ban Blitzchung for 1 year, but this still wasn't enough for Activision Blizzard. There was a controversy, and Activision Blizzard were in deep trouble. They were in deep shit. People were actively boycotting Blizzard. Some were boycotting the games, and others were boycotting the market, so they wouldn't buy things from Activision Blizzard. They wouldn't buy microtransactions, that kind of thing. And I was one of those people. But this was affecting Activision Blizzard, and it was affecting their reputation and their income. They needed to steer the conversation away from themselves, from human rights, from their incompetence, and from their failures. So what's one thing a game company does when it's deep in controversy? Part 2. Hey guys, look over there. There's more games. Look.
BlizzCon. We love Diablo.
Holy shit, are they actually going to announce like a new big Diablo game that people have been waiting for years?
We love the way Diablo has brought millions of players around the world together to slay demons.
It's actually like a proper full thing. They've got like a full Blizzard-esque cinematic, they've put a lot of time into this. I think this is really what people have been waiting for. I mean, I'm not even a Diablo fan, and this looks fucking amazing right now. It's on mobile. It's on fucking mobile. Who the fuck was asking for a Diablo on a mobile?
Authentic Diablo gameplay at your fingertips. We have new stories to tell, new skills for you to master. If you want to know more, we'll be back here on the Mythic stage in just a few minutes.
The absolute nothing applause is amazing, by the way.
For those of you who are here at BlizzCon, thank you. We are going to have... Sorry. We welcome you here to BlizzCon, and there has never been a better time to be part of this incredible Blizzard community. We have a demo of Diablo Immortal playable here on the show floor in Hall D. And for those of you watching at home, visit DiabloImmortal.com for more information about Diablo Immortal.
Okay, so maybe not Diablo
Strictly
Immortals.
mobile forever.
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have
Everyone's got a
phones,
phone.
right?
You can play your tablet too.
But there's other Blizzard properties that we could, exploit. Look, I mean, more games, look!
Monsieur, does this mean Overwatch is back?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Did you like it? Did you enjoy? Awesome.
Safe to say that this game reveal was a lot better than Diablo Immortals, to say the least. Overwatch being an insanely popular game of the time, with the same guy who made the first game making more stuff. They announced that they were going to do a single player campaign and they were going to add more things, and it was always going to be a 6v6 Overwatch game, and they had so many plans for it. Albeit being a little bit unnecessary, this reveal was actually really good. If you're going to make a sequel, you want to add more, you want to improve it, and you want the game to be better. And yeah, they got off on the right foot, I think, with this reveal. Even though it was slightly unnecessary and they were obviously trying to dodge controversy, this was good. This was good. It was, if you were going to reveal a game, you would do it like this, except, not covered in controversy. So what could go wrong? People were on your side in terms of revealing a new game. They were still a little bit upset about the whole Blitzchung situation, but you know what? It's about Overwatch at the end of the day, and people were happy with you. There was no way you could possibly fuck it up. Part 3. Activision Blizzard fucked everything up! Fucking hell, dude. I just smashed my plate. Alright, let's do this. I'm gonna run through very quickly on the fucking up of Activision Blizzard. And its eventual downfall. Some of the subjects are serious, so if you want to skip this section, you're more than welcome to. And for those who will stick around and watch, I won't delve too deep into stuff. I'll just give sort of a rough timeline of what happened. And yeah, let's go. April 2021, Activision Blizzard confirms Jeff Kaplan, game director of Overwatch and Overwatch 2, leaves the company. Great stuff. Brilliant. July 20th, 2021, Activision Blizzard sued by California over allegations of frat boy culture and sexual harassment. This frat boy culture was seen in male employees drinking copious amounts of alcohol as they made their way through cubicles to often engage in inappropriate behaviour towards female employees. Men would walk into a private breastfeeding room and stare at the women, with no way to lock the door. July 21st, Activision Blizzard respond with the worst response known to mankind, in which they didn't actually really acknowledge any of the allegations. July 22nd, J. Allen Brack responds to the allegations, saying he disdains bro culture and wants employees to feel comfortable in coming out and reporting incidents. On the same day, Fran Townsend, Activision Blizzard executive, also sends an email to all staff saying a recently filed lawsuit presented a distorted and untrue picture of the company, including factually incorrect, old and out-of-context stories, some more from a decade ago. Basically denying anything that had taken place or it was all lies, and shitting on J. Allen Brack's somewhat tone-deaf apology, and also tweeting out a link to a news article about how bad whistleblowing is. July 24th, former Blizzard executive Mike Morhaime apologizes for failing employees, saying, "To the Blizzard women who experienced any of these things, I'm extremely sorry I failed you," confirming the allegations were pretty much true. July 5th, World of Warcraft development halts at Activision Blizzard following the lawsuit, and inappropriate references are confirmed to be removed 2 days later from the game. July 27th, Bobby Your Uncle Kotick confirms original response was tone deaf but failed to address specifics. July 27th and 28th, Activision Blizzard employees stage walkout in protest. Ubisoft employees follow suit. Another company marred in scandal. July 29th, former senior creative director Alex Afrasabi, if I'm saying that correctly, was confirmed to be fired by Activision Blizzard with references to a Bill Cosby room or a Bill Cosby suite where there was a literal portrait of alleged sex offender Bill Cosby. July 31st, news emerged that a security consultant was harassed by Blizzard recruiters at a job fair. August 3rd, J. Allen Brack resigns as Blizzard's CEO. Employees reject Robbie Rotten-Kotick's choice of anti-union law firm pick they already had a close relationship with, and employees demand they pick the law firm who will be looking over the employees' demands and frustrations. J. Allen Brack is replaced by 2 co-leaders. On the same day, Activision Blizzard has a class action lawsuit filed for failing to reveal the first lawsuit to investors. August 6th, advertisers reevaluate their relationship with the Overwatch League, citing the allegations. August 10th, Activision Blizzard investment company criticizes Activision Blizzard. August 11th, 3 senior Blizzard devs leave the company, including Jesse McCree, yes, the real Jesse McCree, the one they named Cassidy after, Jonathan LaCraft, and Louis Barriga, all because they were being accused of harassment for the Bill Cosby suite and for an abusive culture. August 25th, Activision Blizzard HR accused of shredding documents, which they denied, saying that the documents they were shredding they didn't need to keep around. August 27th, Blizzard confirmed McCree will be changed to Cassidy. September 14th, former Disney exec hired to rebuild the company culture. September 20th, SEC subpoenas Bob's your Uncle Kotick for information. September 21st, there are talks with the Equal Opportunities Commission to settle on the lawsuit. On the same day, Blizzard's chief legal officer leaves the company with no reason cited, and Overwatch executive producer Chaco Sonny also leaves, obviously jumping off the sinking ship. September 27th, Activision Blizzard settles on the lawsuit for $18 million. October 19th, 20 Activision Blizzard employees are confirmed to have been fired. October 26th, BlizzCon is cancelled. November 2nd, co-leader of Blizzard Jen O'Neill steps down, no reason cited. November 16th, CEO Booby Council Tax knew all about the allegations for years. November 17th, Jen O'Neill was offered the same pay as her other co-leaders after she was announced resigning. November 22nd, Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo, of all companies, reconsider their relationship with Activision, all culminating in a shitstorm where more walkouts and strikes are announced before Xbox buys Activision in its entirety. That was a lot to get through, but luckily, you know, it can't get any worse from here, can it? I mean, we've got the game coming out, you know, I mean, yeah, I don't know how it could get much worse. That was a fucking joke. Part 4. It's the same game? I am not even joking with this. Like, when the teaser trailer for the gameplay came out, it literally looks like Overwatch 1 with a simplified HUD, and they were just running through a map and shooting AI bots. And it would be fine if we had never seen that before, but Overwatch 1 literally had an event with AI bots in it. Not only did they have one event, they had 2 events. They had the Junkenstein's Revenge event. Oh, say that 100 times. And then they had the anniversary one where it was about the origins, you know, the Tracer and Reinhardt and Torbjorn, and they're all fighting the Omnics through King's Row and shit. It was really good to have mid-mission interactions between each of the characters, but all of this completely achievable within the actual Overwatch 1 game, because it's the same game. Even in the run-up with the teaser clips of how the gameplay is going to be in the devlogs and things like that, it was all the same. It was Overwatch, but with a HUD change, and that was it. And then they tried to market it as something different. Remember, Jeff Kaplan has left now. They committed to a 6v6 when they announced Overwatch 2, and now they're changing it to 5v5? Overwatch was always a 6v6 game. Jeff Kaplan wanted it to always be a 6v6 game where anytime anyone plays, they can play any character at any skill level, and they can have fun and they can enjoy themselves. And they were just tearing it apart little by little. You know, like, how can you do that and then pretend it's a new game? Because that's what they were doing. They were saying this is a whole new experience. I'm making this post-launch, and they said it was going to launch with a campaign that people had to pay for. And they made the multiplayer free to play, and they haven't given... Oh! This game, outside of the controversy, has no real reason to exist. Everything that we had seen up to this point, before launch, there was no reason for it to exist. Everything they were announcing could have been put in a patch. New skins, story mode, AI events, new voice lines, new heroes. They were doing it for years. They've been doing it since 2016. And now they're making Overwatch 2 because Activision Blizzard dug themselves into a hole and they want to get out of it, but now they've announced a bunch of games and now they have to go through making the games, and so they're very cynically just going through with it. And then news came out that people who bought Overwatch 1 would get nothing for what they bought. I personally got it. I got it in like May 2016 or something like that. I got nothing for that. I've played the game and I have nothing for that except for the abundance of skins. We're going to get into that very soon. You've also got the fact that Overwatch 2 is actively replacing Overwatch 1, which makes no sense. And to pick up another Activision Blizzard IP, it's called Warzone. It's pretty fucking popular. I mean, what you're seeing on the screen is a trailer that came out 2 years ago for Warzone 1. And this looks way better, way more polished. Like, I know it's a marketing trailer, but it just looks so good and it makes me want to play Warzone again. Warzone is a popular game, right? And it's had 3 massive updates. So it had its release, and then it had like more things. It had more things put into it after it was found to be really successful, and then it got the Black Ops stuff, and now it's got the Vanguard stuff. And guess what? Warzone 2 has just come out as well. It came out around the same time, and platform, it's on PS5 and Xbox, whatever it is, but they're keeping it online. They're keeping it, they're keeping it going because it has a dedicated fan base. People play Warzone, and people want to try Warzone 2. There's an option there. But they decided to close Overwatch 1 and replace it with Overwatch 2. Further proving my point that it's the same game, because they've just updated it and slapped a 2 on the end. And it's so frustrating when I have seen people talk about this game. They played the beta and they're like, no, it's different. It's a different game. It's really not a different game. What you're seeing on the screen is basically Overwatch 2 with the HUD facelift. I mean, they've even removed elements from Overwatch 1. You no longer have your banners on your profile picture in the bottom left, or you no longer have the medals, and you no longer have 6v6, the main integral part of Overwatch. And this game being surrounded by controversy, like Jeff Kaplan leaving and Activision Blizzard doing really the most terrible things in the world. I've said it every time, but I failed to see how it gets worse. But then it gets worse! The game launches, and somehow in Activision Blizzard's entire ineptitude, launches with very similar issues to Overwatch 1. You couldn't get in the game when Overwatch 1 launched. You had to wait in a queue to even attempt to enter a server and play the game, and the exact same thing happened with Overwatch 2. It was like getting deja vu, and at the time I didn't play it and I was just sitting back and laughing like, Overwatch 1 had this problem when an update came out. How are they still having the problem now when they have the infrastructure? When I did eventually come around to playing it, it was for a stream redeem. So basically on my stream I have 100k points, like channel points, where I have put a game in there, and it happened to be Overwatch. And it lined up quite nicely with, Overwatch 2. And so I played it on stream, and lo and behold, I actually enjoyed the gameplay. The gameplay felt really nice and smooth, and everything about it just felt good. It felt nostalgic, like when I was talking about my Overwatch competitive grind, I felt it. Like, it felt really nice to control my favorite characters. D.Va was back on into a really good place, and I think she is in a really good place. There was just a few slight problems with everything else to do with the game. The balancing. I know I said this in my last Overwatch video, where I made the essay where I said there was too many balancing issues, and I don't think I even touched upon the subject in the last video, basically saying that crowd control was a thing in Overwatch. Like, you were just getting knocked about like a pinball in a match, and it wasn't fun. But they've fixed it. They've redone all the heroes, and the gameplay is really fun. But there's balancing issues. Oh, Bastion had to be removed from the game because Bastion was broken. And then they had to remove Torp from the game because he was broken. And they've had to remove other heroes or put them on freeze so that, you know, people can't play them because they're broken. Or they're too powerful. Farah and Brigitte come to mind. Like, you could have an infinite shield with Brigitte. How does things like this, after so many years, get past that, you know? And let's touch on the monetization as well. I know loot boxes are garbage, and I completely get that. And they are really garbage, and I hate them. I hate them with a passion. But what they've come up with is so much worse. As someone who played Overwatch 1, I bought into it, and I bought the loot boxes, and I bought the game, and I invested over 600 hours into it. And I got nothing for it. I didn't even realise that the battle pass, I don't even get the first battle pass for free. I don't even get to step in the door with that, even though I bought the game. What is there for me? I looked at the shop, and I looked at how expensive things are, and I was like, holy shit, things are so expensive. How are they just absolutely expensive? Someone did the maths, and someone who had all of the Overwatch 1 skins, their account would be worth $10,000. By my estimations, my account is probably worth about $5,000. I could sell it and I could wipe away all of my debt right now. You know, the entire thing just feels so soulless. It's there to sap your money. It's expensive just to get a few skins or one skin. Fortnite, right, has an amazing battle pass. I've been playing the last season of Fortnite, and the battle pass is incredible. The rewards are insane. Like, I could be playing a few games with some friends, and I come away and I've done about 3 or 4 challenges. I've leveled up, and now I can unlock a few things. That's really good. I love that. That's, like, Fortnite, as much as it gets ragged on for the gameplay or whatever, it's a kid's game, things like that. It has an amazing rewards system for something that you have to pay for if you want to get all of it. That's how you're going to get my money. If I'm going to pay for something, it needs to be fun, which Overwatch is, but it needs to be rewarding. I can't just sit there and grind my ass off to do a few daily challenges, because it just feels like a chore. I don't want to have to do it. I want to play a game, and I want to get things from it. In fact, I was incorrect. It would cost a mind-boggling, and I quote, $12,080.69, or every weekly challenge for 450 years. And this is quoted from VG 24/7. Even 10 grand is a lot of money. How are they getting away with this? This isn't egregious. This is just greed. And with the new hero on the way, things just don't look like they're going to improve. I mean, they're making a hero that can just hit through shields at range, which is bad, by the way. This game really needs to be taken back to the drawing board. It needed a little bit time cooking in the oven, you know? What they've done to Overwatch is they've taken the corpse of what it was and mashed it into something that might wring a few pennies out of, you know, returning players and new players who don't know any better. I don't think that's what Overwatch really deserves, and this is coming from me who would put down the game. I'd gone through love and hate stages with it, and it's not great. I love the gameplay, don't get me wrong, but that's literally the only thing I love about it. Playing with friends is fun, but it's not enough for me to keep coming back to. I can just play Fortnite, I can just play Warzone. you know, if I wanted to play Warzone 1, I can just hop back on Warzone 1. They literally killed Overwatch and replaced it with a rearranged corpse. Just, I know I keep using the analogy of corpse, but yeah, it's horrible. And honestly, I don't really see it being a long-term thing unless Activision Blizzard really decide that they're going to change things up and they're going to rein in the microtransactions, which they won't. But because they've got Warzone, they don't need to, because Warzone makes enough money for them. All of their IPs make enough money for them, and now they've got Xbox looking after them. Overwatch is effectively dead by its own creators. There's nothing more that you can really say about it. It's sad. You know when you get that one game that you love and you cherish and you've played it for hours and hours and hours and you can't seem to put it down, you get obsessed with it, you love the lore and you watch all the cinematics and you listen to the music and hell, you even memorize some of the cinematics because you're just so invested in the story and the game and the characters, and the person who made it just turns around and spits in your face and takes your money out of your wallet. Can you imagine that? Just like Activision Blizzard, just like hitting you in the stomach with a baseball bat, being like, nope, that's mine now. And everything is just so expensive, and they've even had to rein in some of the costs of it because people are just complaining, and the game won't survive as a free-to-play model. There's still no AI campaign story mode thing that they promised. There's none of that. It's Overwatch with a 2 on the end. And when people see that there's a 2 on the end of something, they expect something bigger, something better. Uncharted was great, and Uncharted 2 was amazing because it just built off Uncharted and made the best things better and everything else great. You know? It's just sad. That's all I can say. For real this time, goodbye Overwatch. You had so much potential that Activision Blizzard just absolutely squandered. There's really no reason to play you anymore, and that's okay. I personally miss Overwatch. I thought it was great, and although I let some of my own personal issues cloud my judgment a little bit, I still look back on the years fondly where I actually did play and enjoy it. Overwatch was so unique and good, and they have crushed it and reimagined its corpse into something disgusting. And I am done. For real. But I'll always keep you there, Overwatch. You'll always be there. See you later, Overwatch.